So I know it's pretty fashionable to compare everyone to Nazis or to Hitler, but when Alberta Federation of Labour President Gil McGowan does it by comparing Jason Kenney to Joseph Goebbels, that's when I think we have a serious problem. It's not just hyperbole, it's not just ridiculous, over dramatization of speech. It's actually ridiculous, and I want to talk about that today because this is something that seriously needs to stop. So here we have a story. The tweets apparently are down, so I had to pull up the news story. But here we have Gil McGowan saying Hitler's propaganda chief Joseph Goebbels famously said, "Always accuse your enemies of what you're doing yourself." That's exactly what's going on with Jason Kenney's union busting Bill 32. It's the UCP and its corporate friends who are gaming the system. And then he even doubles down and says, "And yes, I'm accusing the UCP of adopting tactics pioneered by the Nazis and being implemented by right-wing authoritarians today: Hungary, Turkey, Brazil, India, Trump's America. These are all countries led by authoritarians who Kenney calls friends." So, very, very ridiculous. I want to talk about why it's ridiculous, though, for a couple of reasons. Number one, it really lowers the level of our political discourse. I mean, the main issue here is when you compare someone to the Nazis, you compare someone to Hitler, there's nowhere to go from there. Hitler was probably the worst person that there was and did probably the most atrocious things. Now, I understand it's easy to compare it to them because that's just a good catch-all for being bad. But when you compare someone to Hitler, you're basically comparing them to the worst of the worst, to evil of evil. And so where do you go from there? If Jason Kenney's Hitler, what happens if Jason Kenney were to hypothetically start actually rounding up people, putting them in, gas chambers, murdering them, making certain people wear different colored clothing to identify themselves? What are you going to call him then? Oh, he's Super Hitler? He's gone Super Saiyan Hitler? This is the ridiculous part. So it lowers our political discourse, and the main issue is that there's nowhere left to go. There's nowhere left to go from there. Second, it's intellectually lazy by doing that. Again, it's sort of like a catch-all. Third, words have actual meanings. Again, you can't just say that someone is a Nazi because you feel like calling them Nazis. Even if he's adopting some Goebbels tactic, your message is going to get lost, but without providing proof of what is actually happening, that's just so intellectually lazy, and words actually have meanings. You have to stick to them. It's also, in addition, it's reprehensible to anyone who suffered under the Nazi regime. And I don't just mean Jews. I mean, literally anyone who suffered under the Nazi regime. It sort of diminishes their suffering, saying that Jason Kenney wanting to bust a union is just like concentration camps. It's just like sterilizing people with disabilities. It's just like having political prisoners murdered. It's just the same as that, because Gil McGowan says that, it's no problem. They're all doing just like Nazi stuff over there in Alberta. It's just crazy, like Nazi Germany, Alberta. The other thing is that it also is really diminishing a level of conversation that we require among our leaders. I expect our leaders to fight for their issues. So he has a constituency, he's a trade union boss, I have no problem with that. He's arguing for his members, but that's not the kind of conversation that you need. All he's done now is set back that cause, set back that dialogue, and set back that debate. So if I were a member of the union, I'd be super angry right now, because instead of talking about the issue, like I'm not from Alberta, I have no idea what Bill 32 is, I have no idea what's going on. That's how important it is to have important conversations with rational thought and use proper words, because now all I know about this guy is that he is using some crazy hyperbole to call Jason Kenney Joseph Goebbels and a Nazi. So issue is totally gone. Maybe I would have supported Bill 32, supported his action against Bill 32, or maybe I would have supported Bill 32, who knows. But now all I know is that he's behaving like a Nazi tool. So let's stop using Nazi analogies. Let's use proper words for things. Let's not be ridiculous in our speech and call people Nazis because it's so intellectually lazy. And again, in short, there's nowhere left to go. Once you call someone Hitler, that's it. If everybody's Hitler, nobody's Hitler, and the word has no meaning. So let's think about that. For True North, I'm Sam Eskenasi. Have yourself a great day, and let's not use Nazi analogies. Thanks.